Hello, welcome to sportingways.com. My name's Thomas Rooney. I'm joined by Joe Rooney once again. We're going to look for each Premier League fixture this weekend and the FA Cup semi-finals. Just give a few thoughts on each and then give a prediction. Each of us will give a prediction. We'll start with Norwich versus Manchester City, which is a 12:45 kick-off on Saturday lunchtime. I'll talk about Norwich and then Joe will talk about Man City, and that'll be the pattern for the rest of the podcast. For Norwich City, excellent win at Spurs last time. It was sort of a game that no one really gave them a chance in, but they performed fantastically well to win at White Hart Lane. They've now got 43 points, and you'd say they were safe now, but they probably need one more point, maybe one more win just to be absolutely sure. But they could almost lose every game and they'd still stay up. Paul Lambert's done a fantastic job at Carrow Road, probably up there with Manager of the Year, you would say. And just a quick word for Anthony Pilkington as well, who's got 8 goals in the Premier League this year from the left wing, which is a very good achievement and probably hasn't been mentioned too much. And Norwich will relish this one as well against Manchester City in front of their home fans.
Yes, obviously Man City, they're back in the title race after their result last night against West Brom. They beat them 4-0, absolutely hammered them, and while United lost at Wigan 1-0. It's a massive boost and something they wouldn't have been expecting. They've now got to really go and put the pressure on Man United. With United playing on Sunday, they can go within 2 points of them. And a word on Carlos Tevez as well. He's had his break, but he's back, and he looked very, very good against West Brom. And he could play a vital part for them for the rest of the season. So the prediction for this one?
Yeah, I'll go for a prediction. I think it's going to be a good game between sort of a Norwich side who are relatively confident at the moment and can relax a bit. But I think in the end, because City need the points so much, I think they will get them. So I'm going for Norwich 1, Manchester City 2.
Yeah, I agree. I think it might just be a bit of a bigger game for Manchester City than it is for Norwich. I think Norwich will play their part, and I think they'll score. They might even go 1-0 up, but I think in the end Manchester City will win 3-1.
Okay, next up we're going to look at Sunderland at home to Wolves. It's a 3 p.m. kick-off on Saturday afternoon in the Premier League. Talk about Sunderland to begin with. Martin O'Neill's men were hammered 4-0 at Everton last time out, and you do wonder whether some of their players are on the beach a little bit. They obviously had a fantastic turnaround earlier in the season when Martin O'Neill first came to the club, but they've only won 1 of their last 5 and they are fading slightly between now and the end of the campaign. They're obviously in no danger of relegation, and in terms of their aims for the season, they'll want a top 10 finish still, just to sort of show how much they have improved under O'Neill. And with that in mind, a home game against Wolves, there's definitely targeting 3 points in this one.
Yeah, Wolves, they look all but relegated now, don't they? They're 9 points adrift from safety. Terry Connors urged them to fight on till the end of the season, which obviously he's got to. But the fans must just be so frustrated with what's gone on at their club this season. They've lost their last 7, winning just 1 in 2012. And you've got to say they look pretty doomed now, to be honest. So what are you going for this one, Tom?
This one I think is going to be a Sunderland win. I think Wolves are doomed, as you say. I think they've got not much fight left in them. And if Sunderland score early, it could be a bit of a rout. So I'm going for Sunderland 3, Wolves 0.
Yeah, I can't really see where Wolves' points are coming from at the moment, so I'm also going for a Sunderland win. I've gone 2-0.
Next up, we've got Swansea versus Blackburn. It's a 3 p.m. kick-off on Saturday afternoon in the Premier League. We'll talk about Swansea to begin with. And obviously Brendan Rodgers' team have had a very good season this year. They've kind of defied all expectations for them, and they're mid-table comfortably. But they have been stuck on 39 points for a few weeks now. Everyone talks about the sort of 40-point mark, and they can't quite get there, which must be frustrating for them. They've lost their last 4, most recently a 3-0 defeat at Queen's Park Rangers. They are 10 points clear of relegation though, and kind of looking towards next season now and just sort of finishing with a bit of momentum, sort of to push on in the summer. And they want to strengthen the summer because next year will be tough for them, sort of second season in the Premier League.
Yeah, Blackburn, they had a very poor midweek, and they were there losing at home to Liverpool. Liverpool went down to 10 men, and Blackburn did miss a penalty in that game as well, so they'll be really gutted about that. They're 3 points adrift at the bottom of the table still. Lost 4 in a row, so they're really not in the right kind of form for this stage of the season. But there's still points there for them to play for. They've still got Wigan to play, so they could still drag themselves out of it, and you just can't write anyone off in this season at the moment. So what are you going for this one? Yeah,
I think it's going to be a tight game actually. I think Swansea are sort of determined to get back to winning ways. They want to get that 40 points. They want to make sure that with 3 games to go, they're not still slightly looking over their shoulders. Whereas Blackburn are obviously fighting for their lives. So I think it'll be a kind of tentative start from both teams. But in the end, I think Swansea will nick the points. I think it's going to be 1-0 to the home side.
Yeah, both sides aren't in a very good run of form at the minute, so I think it is going to be a very tight game. I think both sides might just be happy with a point, so I'm going to go for 1-1.
Okay, next up we've got West Brom at home to the Queen's Park Rangers, a 3 p.m. kick-off on Saturday afternoon in the Premier League. We'll talk about the Baggies to begin with. Now West Brom, they've kind of had an up and down season really. They've had spells where they've won maybe 2 or 3 in a row, and then they've gone through a spell where they've not picked up any victories at all. Overall they're 13th in the table after the 4-0 defeat to Manchester City last time, and there's no danger of relegation. There's nothing they've got to worry about there, but they want to finish strongly, and at home they actually can be encouraged because they've won 3 of the last 4 at the Hawthorns, and this is especially pleasing considering they did struggle at the Hawthorns earlier this season, sort of struggled to pick up wins. So at the moment they'll be confident in front of their home fans, and they'll want 3 points in this one to kind of ensure that they finish in a decent position this year.
Yeah. QPR, I mean, they keep fighting, don't they? They had a 3-0 win over Swansea on Wednesday evening at home, and their home form looks to be what's going to keep them up. They've won their last 3 at Loftus Road, and they will be boosted by Joey Barton being back in the side. Barton got himself a goal, very good goal last night, and they're now 2 points clear of the bottom 3, so they're going to really want to stay out of that bottom 3 and hope that they can push on towards the end of the season now.
Absolutely. Prediction, we'll go for, I think it's actually going to be an away win in this one. I've got a feeling for QPR. They look good against in their most recent game. I think they're fighting for their lives. I think they've got some very good attacking players when they're all fit as well. So with West Brom little to play for, I think it's QPR that'll get the points. So I'm going for West Brom 1, QPR 2.
Yeah, I think it's going to be another really, really tight game. West Brom are going to want to win this one, I think, just to push on, but I can see it being a bigger game for QPR again. And I've gone for an away win as well. I've gone 1-0 to Queen's Park Rangers.
Okay, moving on to Sunday's Premier League fixtures now. We've got a 4 p.m. kick-off between Manchester United and Aston Villa. Talk about United to begin with. Now, obviously they lost at Wigan last time out, which was a shock result, a disappointing result for United, who are kind of pushing towards their latest Premier League title. Alex Ferguson said afterwards that it's just a bit of an off day, and that happens in football, which is very much the case. The pressure could be really on in this one. If Manchester City win at Norwich on Saturday, the gap would be to 2 points, and City will think they're very much back in this title race. But you do expect Manchester United to relish this type of situation. Premier League title race, few games to go, in front of their home fans. You would expect them to get the 3 points this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, Aston Villa, it's still all about survival for them, isn't it? And they're going to want to get to the summer and reassess their approach, because a team of Villa's stature should not have had such a poor season that they have. They're still 6 points above the bottom 3, but with teams below them picking up results, they're still definitely not safe. They've won just twice in the Premier League in 2012, so they're not in any sort of form. And so what are you going for prediction for this one, Tom?
Yeah, I think, as I said, I think it is United that will get the points. I think they're going to nick it. I think Villa will come out fighting. They kind of seem to raise their game a little bit in the bigger teams. They did alright at the Emirates earlier this season in the FA Cup game, but eventually lost. And I think that could be the case this weekend. So I'm actually going to go for Manchester United 3, Aston Villa 2.
Yeah, I'm going for not quite as good a game as you're predicting, but I do think United are going to run out winners. I think it'll be Manchester United 1, Aston Villa 0.
Okay, next up is the Monday night football fixture between Arsenal and Wigan, 8 p.m. kick-off on Monday evening. We'll talk about the Gunners to begin with. And obviously they're in the driving seat for third position at the moment, which is the last automatic Champions League place, and they won at a struggling Wolves last time out with goals from Robin van Persie and Theo Walcott, and those two have kind of been a consistent force for Arsenal over the last couple of months, where their form has dramatically improved. And they're 5 points clear of 5th at the moment, so the Champions League position is relatively assured, but they'll be aware of how quickly things can change in the Premier League, because obviously Tottenham are almost as certain of third position, and they threw it away, so Arsenal will be careful that they don't do that. So they'll want 3 points and nothing less this weekend against Wigan.
Yeah, I mean, Wigan, everyone admires their fight. That it was a fantastic win at home to Manchester United on Wednesday night. Following their defeat to Chelsea, where they were unlucky with decisions, didn't go their way, and they showed real spirit not to feel sorry for themselves after that game. They could have quite easily felt sorry for themselves after that. And Martinez is a top manager, and he seems to really relish this situation, doesn't he? But there is still a long way to go. You can see how things are going to change. But they do finish with games against Blackburn and Wolves, so you can really see it going right to the wire here. So what's your prediction for this one? Yeah,
I think as much as Wigan have kind of been impressive over the last couple of games, it's another really tough one. I just think it's a game too far in terms of the performance and then therefore the result. So I think Arsenal are strong at home, and I think Arsenal will win 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, I think Wigan will put up a fight because they're going into the game with a lot of confidence, but I do think as well Arsenal might just have a little bit too much for them. So I'm going Arsenal 3, Wigan 1.
Okay, we're going to look at the two FA Cup semi-finals now, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. We'll start with Saturday's 12:30 kick-off between Liverpool and Everton at Wembley. Talk about Liverpool to begin with. Obviously got a confidence-boosting win. Fucking hell. You're annoying, isn't it?
Yeah. I better not be ill for my birthday.
Huh?
I better not be ill for my birthday.
You better not be.
You.
Okay, we're going to look at the two FA Cup semi-finals now, both at Wembley, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. We'll look at 12:30 kick-off on Saturday to begin with. This is between Liverpool and Everton. We'll talk about Liverpool to begin with. Obviously they got a confidence-boosting win over Blackburn going into this one, which was kind of really important for Kenny Dalglish's team, I think, because they've been in a very poor run of form in the Premier League, and they'll be pleased to go into this game at Wembley on the back of 3 points. They do tend to enjoy the cup competitions as well. Obviously they've already won the Carling Cup and tasted success at Wembley already this year, and led by Steven Gerrard, who always seems to raise his game in these sort of occasions. You know, they are definitely the favourites. You know, they've beaten Everton twice this year in the Premier League, and many people will be expecting them to do so again.
Yeah, but Everton, they are the form side going into this game. You know, they go into it on the back of a 4-0 hammering of Sunderland, so they'll have plenty of confidence going into this one. And they're now set to bring Cahill and Jelavic back into the side, and Jelavic really does look like that goal scorer that Everton have been crying out for over the last few years, so he could be a real boost to them. And they've won 3 of their last 4 in the league, so they really are in a great run of form at the moment. So what do you think for this one, Tom?
I think it's going to be an entertaining game between two teams, two passionate sets of supporters cheering them on. I think it's going to be a really good game at Wembley, and I actually think it's going to be level sort of going in after extra time. So I think it'll be 2-2, but then I think Liverpool will nick it on penalties. I just think they've got that know-how going into the penalty shootout.
Yeah, I can see it being a great game, but I just fancy Everton with the form they're in at the moment, so I think Everton are going to win 2-1.
Okay, we'll look at Sunday's semi-final now. It's a 6 PM kick-off between Tottenham and Chelsea at Wembley. We'll talk about Tottenham to begin with, and you do feel that Tottenham really need this to get their season back on track, or obviously need to progress to the final and then possibly win the FA Cup to really get their season, which has filtered away in the last few weeks. Defeat at home to Norwich last time out was extremely disappointing, and now their top 4, or their place in the top 4 is hanging by a thread really, and you know that most people think they might be overtaken by Chelsea or by Newcastle in the next few weeks unless their form improves. So they'll hope a win here in a big semi-final can maybe boost them going into the last Premier League fixtures, and you know, eventually if they win the FA Cup they can look back at this season as a success. So this really is a massive game for Harry Redknapp's team.
Yeah, I mean Chelsea, they're fighting on a lot of fronts now. They've got the top 4 in their sights, like you said. They've also got their semi-final against Barcelona in the Champions League, which is just an absolutely massive game for them. We'll feel they have the big name players to progress into the final here. These two teams have played out 2 draws this season as well, so you can see a tight game. You know, they are 2 teams with sort of level ability this season, I think. So what are you going for this one? Yeah,
I think it will be a tight one. I think there'll only be sort of a goal to separate the sides, and in the end I think I've just got a feeling that Chelsea, like I said, the big name players, I think they've got the know-how for this. Lampard, Drogba, those sort of players, the players you want on your side in this sort of semi-final. And on that note, I think it is going to be Chelsea that progress, so I'm going for Tottenham 1, Chelsea 2.
Yeah, I just feel with Chelsea, they may, although it is a massive game, their players could still have one eye on the Champions League, which is obviously the tournament they want to win the most. So I think Tottenham will just sneak this 2-1.